This week on C Plus News Time, Chris Gethard's career suicide is happening on HBO, Conan is going back to the Apollo, and Samantha Bee is throwing an alternative facts Correspondents Dinner. Comedians roasting the presidents at these things is usually a big deal, but that might not be true for this year for good reason. We'll take a look at comedy's history with the dinners. Speaking of, I'm powerful hungry right now. I could really use some mashed potatoes, some broccoli, and a hearty protein-filled portion of this. C Plus News Time. Wait, is it gluten-free? Oh, tell them to come back. Ah, damn it.
It's C Plus News Time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
If I had $1 for every sticker on an apple I ate, I'd probably be able to afford this life-saving apple sticker removing surgery. Welcome back to C Plus News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the comedy news that you didn't know about for the week of January 30th, 2017. First up, if you didn't know, nerdcore comedian Chris Gethard has a one-man show called Career Suicide that he's been doing on Off-Broadway for the past few months. This coming May, we'll see the televised version of the special. The hit will be taped at some point this month. Gethard is currently doing a 5-night engagement of the show in London. Career Suicide, which is executive produced by HBO's Girls, producer Judd Apatow, garnered super positive reviews from outlets like the New York Times and the Village Voice. Next up, Conan O'Brien's titular TBS show will return to the Apollo Theater. Better yet, it'll be a part of the New York Comedy Festival thanks to a partnership TBS has with the event. Conan's going to hip string dance his way there from November 7th to the 12th. He was previously there this past November for a 4-night stint that rocked the building. Before that, though, we'll have to look forward to see Conan take on Mexico in his Conan Without Borders Made in Mexico special set to air on March 1st. And finally, Samantha Bee is known to not like the current presidential administration. She, like many, basically hates it. And it's justified, really. But now the late-night host is taking on what used to be the biggest meal of the presidency, the Correspondents Dinner. The very same night the Washington's elite will be chowing down on unseasoned chicken breasts, Bee will be throwing the Not the White House Correspondents Dinner at the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C. TBS is said to support the idea, even clearing their schedule that evening to somehow air it. Hopefully, it'll be live. Bee promises food, music, and laughter, but she also includes the most important lesson of that night. Quote, "You'll learn how screwed we'd be without a free press," which is fitting because the proceeds for that night will go to the committee to protect journalists. While everyone is pulling out of the original dinner set for April, let's take a look at the history of comedians grilling our nation's, I don't want to say finest. I'll go with person who won the Electoral College. The early years of the dinners were packed with guests from many worlds, like music and the silver screen. In 1944, at the very first dinner, Bob Hope and Gracie Fields led an all-star night that honored the then President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It wasn't until 1968, when Richard Pryor took the stage by himself, that it went to a single comic setup. The following years were met with appearances from Jay Leno, Yakov Smirnoff, and Sinbad. In 1992, though, Paula Poundstone managed to be the first solo female host. But having comedians appear at the dinners is still a risky maneuver. Many criticize it, seeing the night as a way for press to get close to the administration, which would lead to unfair practices between the two. Others say that the dinners are becoming too mainstream with its Hollywood performers when the night is supposed to be about the scholarships awarded and, positively but with light to moderate ribbing, examine the presidency. But this can't be done when Stephen Colbert knocks his speech out of the park using his Colbert Report character, or when Cecily Strong just straight up murders on her speech. The White House Correspondents Dinner may seem like an overhyped, undercooked night, but it does have a place in comedy history. In 2011, a day before Osama bin Laden was killed, Seth Meyers made jokes about the current administration's inability to find the man. Obama and Robert Gates just laughed their way into history. In 2005, when Cedric the Entertainer hosted, Laura Bush even told some jokes, and Brian Williams did a skit with Aretha Franklin in 1999. With this new administration, it's going to be tough to get jokes in and expect free speech for the press afterwards. Bee's new dinner is going to be the new big thing at the end of April, and even if it's a little more serious than we'd like, it's still better than watching C-SPAN. And that's all the news I have for you for this week on C Plus News Time. Why don't you subscribe and check out one of our other videos? Of course, you can always head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where we've got the latest news, reviews, features, interviews, and other good comedy bits that only I can provide you with. You can follow us on Twitter at @CPlusComedy. Follow me on Twitter at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Tumblr us on Tumblr. And this episode was brought to you by C-SPAN. C-SPAN for falling asleep during the day.